All right, well, we are live. Hope everybody's having a good day. We are changing things up a little bit. First of all, I want to say hello to everybody. This is Let's Talk Airguns. My name is Rick with AirgunWeb and Gateway to Airguns. This is our live show we do, and we're changing things up. I have a few notes here we'll talk about. We're changing things up, which I'm actually really excited about. It's been a long time coming. I'd been doing things on YouTube for the longest time just because it was most convenient. And I didn't want to change things, but now that we've made the change, I'm actually really excited because it lets us do things like we're going to do today, which we could never do over on YouTube. And we can do it live, and you guys that want to come join us, you can come join us, and we can actually have fun together. So first of all, I want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors. You can check them out at gatewaytoairguns.org. That's our forum, or gatewaytoairguns.com, which has all of our stuff. We post social media and everything. If you want to skip social media and just watch us directly, you can go to gatewaytoairguns.com. You can also go to airgunweb.com and see all of my AirgunWeb stuff. Again, skip social media, go right there. All of it is posted on our Vimeo page, which again, no ads, just skip all that stuff and you can watch it ads free. At least Vimeo doesn't inject ads. I may bug you with an ad, but they won't. So please make use of those sites if you would. Today's video is actually, it's funny how we came about this whole series. YouTube has a thing where they kind of say, we think viewers want to see this. And one of the things it was like an ultimate guide to airgun optics. And I was thinking, gosh, that would be fun. We haven't done that. I know, Sue, you have a lot of questions about optics. You are constantly asking, right?
I do. Very, very many questions about optics. I do not understand them. They're very mathematical to me.
Yes,
I don't get it.
You love math, so it's your favorite thing, right?
Yeah, no.
So I thought, let's go ahead and walk through some of those questions. I think this is a little high behind the scope. We'll walk through some of those questions and actually deal with a couple different ways to look at it, because there's so many variations. Just looking over Hawke's website, there are boatloads of different variations that really can make quite confusing, and people don't know what they're looking at. So we want to help kind of demystify some of that. And we're going to start with like beginner airgun scopes. Then we're going to look at intermediate airgun scopes. And then we're going to look at enthusiast airgun scopes. And we will be using Hawke for all of this. So a huge thank you to Hawke Optics. They are a sponsor of AirgunWeb, Gateway to Airguns. They helped us out at Airgun Expo. Just a great bunch of folks that I've been working with for probably 10 years now. And just so you guys know how I came to connect with Hawke is I had bought some of their optics. Really loved them. I had been using a different brand, a more budget brand, and I ran into some issues with clarity and durability. And somebody recommended I look at Hawke. I looked at Hawke, bought them. I said, wow, this is great. I reached out to Hawke, and that started a relationship that is ongoing. And I'm super appreciative of them and what they do and how they help us out. So mostly they do help financially support the channel, all the channels, just with here's some revenue. We appreciate what you're doing for us. They don't dictate and specify. They're just very, very generous that way to us, which we appreciate it. And then they also provide me with a ton of optics. So when I'm looking for a project like this or Airgun Expo, they say, Rick, what do you want? They put it in a box and ship it out to me. And I do most of the time ship it back. But every now and then they let me keep a few. Some I actually continue to buy because I like them and they're expensive and they don't just give those away. So that's the relationship between me and Hawke. It's something that I've maintained for years, and I hope to continue doing so. It's one of my choice. It's not out of like, oh, I can't live without Hawke. I know there are other optics out there, but I like Hawke Optics. I think they bring great value and feature set to the market. So there you go. Let's talk a little bit, before we get going on that, what we're going to be doing with Let's Talk Airguns. Today we're going to be doing that one video on the beginner's guide, but also today we're going to be doing 2 other episodes. And why I'm doing this is there's a need for efficiency on my part to kind of get Sue in here. Hi, Sue.
Hi, babe.
And let her run all the gear, let us do these videos, record several segments, and then we can release them over the next month or so. So when we go live, we're probably going to be doing that in a chunk of time and getting a bunch of things knocked out, sort of like, when I used to film with American Airgunner, we did like everything in 3 days, all of my stuff, and then we used that for the whole season. I know that you guys like the live streams, and I think it's great. I don't have the flexibility right at the moment to be consistent with it because, like, right, Sue, we may be somewhere Friday, we may be somewhere Saturday. It always seems like we've got something going on when we need to go live, right?
Yeah, and especially over a weekend, it's the only time you have really off of work.
Yeah.
Not that you ever take time off work, but it's the only time that you actually have away from where clients are off work.
Right.
Probably the better way to say that. So it gives you a little more freedom to do other things.
Yeah, so I appreciate you guys, working with us on that. What we're doing to help make it easier for everybody to know what's going on. Would you switch over to my screen, hun?
Yes, are you ready for it?
I'm ready for it. Yep.
Okay.
Over here, we have
do a picture there.
We have our new Let's Talk Airguns
hold
page.
On. Wrong picture in picture.
No, we have our new Let's Talk Airguns page, which is, now you're going to see it and see it and see it and see it. Maybe I don't know if it's going to do like the whole mirror thing. But we have a whole new Let's Talk Airguns section on our website over at airgunweb.com. So it's airgunweb.com/LTA. And we've got that, and I'm going to put up there our upcoming live stream, when we're going to be doing, what we're going to be talking about. And then if you scroll down, you can see that we've got a bunch of our recent live streams. I've got to add another one to there because we had one that we did last week or so on the FXDRS Tactical. And then Sue is doing a ton of work. I'm telling you, a ton of work. I don't pay her nearly enough. And she's backfilling all of the old episodes so that they're here on the website. So first of all, Sue, thank you. It's a ton of work to download them, process them, prepare them, and then post them. It's a lot. I don't know how many you've gotten to so far, but
I think I've done about 20 so far.
Okay. And there's only 200. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, there are only 200 of them.
So we're working on that. And then any of the ones that aren't already converted to podcasts, I'll get with Cheryl to make sure we go back and backfill all those gaps. So there was some stuff that you were looking at, the original, you can come off my computer now, some of the original Airgun Expo lives, like the wraps and stuff. And you like those, if I remember correctly. You thought they were interesting?
Yeah, 2021 Airgun Expo wraps, nightly wraps. Those were some very interesting and fun, because you talk to people from, like, vendors about their stuff. And so it brought a whole new dynamic in, because you're actually asking them questions live. And the public were asking questions live as well. So it was kind of cool. Yeah.
So we're going to get those converted to podcasts so those can be out there. They were a lot of fun. All right, so we can go ahead and get started now. I believe that's everything. When we're done, last point, when we're done with these lives, as we film a bunch of them, they will go over to Cheryl. Cheryl will trim them, and if there's any egregious errors, fix them. Thank you, Cheryl. And then we'll publish them on YouTube, and that will be our regular scheduled live podcast, live stream, whatever. Probably, I guess, podcast will be going out on a regular schedule. I haven't decided what time and date. Probably going to be like Friday, 7 o'clock at night. Like I have one, when we're done today, I'm going to get the last live we did set up for YouTube tonight. It'll be live, and then we'll just have that on a schedule. So we're filming 3 today. We'll have the next month basically set up. Yes, Sue?
So if we decide that we're going to do a live, like a live, you and I, where you do Let's Talk Airguns and you chat to the people on YouTube and stuff,
right,
where you're not touching a gun or anything, is that something we can still do, throw it up once in a while, just randomly on a Friday or Saturday?
On like YouTube or something?
Yeah.
I mean, look, yes, of course, if it's something that if it's not a touchy, gunny, picture gunny thing that's going to get me in trouble with YouTube, sure, we can do that. I mean, I enjoy them. I enjoy the feedback. I enjoy going live and talking with people. I just can't do it consistently like I want to. Like we were doing it Tuesday nights when it was just me, but then we want to get Sue involved, and then we want to get other people involved. And I want to have guests. Angie called me and said, hey, I'd really like to come back and do some Let's Talk Airguns. I said, that'd be great to have you. Let's do it. So we've got to work out some logistics now that Skype is dead. And there's a bunch of things we're working on. But whatever I do, I want to have that greater public-facing stuff, i.e. YouTube, be very consistent. Yes, Sue?
So I had a suggestion on this, and we've never tried it, so I don't know how it would work. But on Facebook, it says bring them on video with people. If there were people live who wanted to come on the video to ask a question, I don't know how it would work, but it's worth a shot.
Certainly something we can try. I think I'm a little bit leery of having people
Joe
I
Schmo.
don't know coming on video. That might be catastrophic. Let's put a pin in that one. But I believe, and one of the things we were working on recently is Vimeo also has a utility, and they have the means of connecting live callers in their utility. So we're going to work through those logistics. Now let's go ahead and get started, because that's enough of that. We're going to be here a while. This may be the longer of the 3 segments because there's a lot to go through. I'm going to let Sue ask questions. She's going to be your, if you're a beginner saying I need a new scope, and I'm really hoping the scope I chose is going to fit on here, because I'm looking, and it may run into this site. I hope it does not, but that's one of the things we'll have to look at. As I'm looking at it, it might be interesting here. Yes, Sue?
So for those of you who are watching live, if you have a question, please post it and I'll ask it for you.
Yep, we'll see if that's going to work. It's going to be a tricky one for sure. I hope it will. If not, well, that's going to be one of the lessons learned, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's what happens in real life, right?
What happens in real life, yes. So if this may be an example of what not to do, we'll find out here. I haven't. This is a brand new scope. I didn't want to take it out without. I wanted to take it brand new out of the box. Okay, so let's start talking about the ultimate guide to beginners Airgun Optics. We're going to look at features in these notes that I have that are relevant to this. I plan on posting in the video description on our website once we're done, so that if there's stuff that you are hearing in the video, you want to go get links and whatnot to things I'm talking about. Yeah, you should be able to find them like on the AirgunWeb LTA page. You should be able to find them there. So you got your scope here. First of all, let's talk about the scope that generally comes with a gun. Now, this is the Gammo 3-9 by 40 basic rifle scope. And truthfully, it's fine, okay? It has some shortcomings, and a lot of people struggle with accuracy or consistency, and the first thing I want to do is blame the optic. And I'll tell you, it's probably not your scope, it's probably you. And I know that is not fun to hear. Nobody likes to hear that. But the reality is these guns require a technique that a lot of people don't want to put the time and energy in to learn and get consistent. So a couple things you can do. First of all, to work on your technique is take the scope off and shoot with open sights, because then it's just you and the gun, right? There's nothing else in the way. So if you can get consistent with open sights and put your scope back on, and then you're still having problems, then it might be the scope, okay? So take this variable out of the way, learn how to shoot the gun, and you'll be better. You'll be better for it. But let's talk about this scope. So we have your typical bundled optic. Is actually better than typical. This is like an aluminum tube. It's a 40 mil objective, 1-inch tube. You have variable power, right? So it goes from 3 to 9. So variable power means it zooms in. Yes? Question?
3 to 9 being?
3 times magnification or 9 times magnification. So, at the basic level, what you're looking at is 3 times bigger than normally, and then you can go all the way to 9 times bigger. You think that's amazing, right? Just brings it that much closer, right? But reality is 9 times zoom. I think if I have that math wrong in my head, please forgive me, okay? Just you guys that are optics like savants can correct me, and I'm okay with that. But that's your magnification range, 3 to 9.
Okay.
Now, the last thing you have here is this little guy. This is also adjustable. So when you're looking through your scope and you're saying, gosh, my reticle is your crosshairs, right? The actual thing you're using to aim. That is so fuzzy and blurry, and I can't see it. Well, this is what you adjust to make those clear first, and then you can use your magnification. Now, what this scope doesn't have, and I think all airgunners need this on their airguns. All airgun scopes need to have what's called an adjustable objective. This is your objective. Now, when you're looking through a scope, especially on a scope like this, if I'm close, now here's, again, if I was on YouTube, I couldn't even be doing any of this, so that's why we're doing it here in Vimeo. I couldn't touch a gun. But I can look down, and I can look at the wall there, and if I'm at 3 power, it's probably okay. But the minute I go to 9 power, it's like completely out of focus. Cannot see what I'm looking at. Now, if it's 35 yards beyond, it starts to get clear, right? But if you've ever had one of these and you set your tin can up at 15 yards, you crank it to 9 power and you can't see the doggone thing. The reason is because the objective is set for, a parallax of a minimum distance, say 35 or 50 yards. Anything inside that, you're not going to be able to use your full magnification range. Now, I'm not going to get into the technical different differences between parallax and focus, just know that generally speaking, it's used interchangeably as focus. It's really not focus, but that's okay. For practical purposes, when you're looking through your scope and you can see your reticle clearly and you crank that magnification, all of a sudden that's out of focus, there's another setting on a lot of scopes called an adjustable objective that allows you, right, or your parallax adjustment, excuse me, that allows you to focus your image, your sight picture. So that's the part. There's these 3 sections on your scope. This only has 2, right? Has the reticle focus and your magnification. It has no way to adjust your parallax focus or your image focus. So the first thing I say all airgun scopes need is some way to adjust parallax. The cheaper way of implementing that is with an adjustable objective. And that's called, when you look at a scope, it may say AO. Some may say SF for side focus. So the side focus is a knob on the side. It's still adjusting parallax, but instead of rotating a knob here, it's on the side. It's often more convenient. So that being able to adjust the parallax is super huge. That's like the biggest upgrade you're going to really notice going from a budget scope to a better scope, even if a beginning optic. Make sure it has that adjustable objective, side focus, or parallax adjustment, one of those things. Now, the next thing, this has what's called a duplex reticle. So if we go over, and I apologize that this is over here on this computer. I'm going to try and find a duplex reticle here.
Let me know when you want me on there.
Yeah, I am on Vantage. I can't see it. I need better eyes, I think. These are all, here it is. This will work. Here it is, 3030
Put
duplex.
it on your computer?
Yeah, go ahead. All right, so this is your typical...
Give me just a second before you keep talking.
Okay.
I'm going to need to move your picture in picture.
Okay.
Nope, wrong one.
Again, this portion of this video series is probably going to be a little longer than the next ones because there's a lot of groundwork we have to cover. And you get to immediate, intermediate, and enthusiast levels, you already know a lot of this, but we're going to talk about some specifics there too. But this is going to be fairly lengthy because there's a lot of ground to cover. Okay, are we good to go?
Yep.
All right, so what you're looking at on the screen here, that is a duplex reticle. As you can see, there's thin lines and then they go to a thick line. That's what this scope has. So pellets shoot on a curve, right? Sorry, my nose just, hold on. Sorry, okay. So pellets shoot on a curve. Like they're always on like an artillery shot. There are no flat shooting trajectories with air guns. They're all on an arc.
And
so,
what goes up must come down.
Exactly. So if you're shooting at a fixed distance, say 25 yards, nothing wrong with that reticle. It's clear, it's simple, it's uncomplicated. You put the on where you want to hit, it should go right there. That's beautiful. But what happens if you're changing distances? So what happens if now you're at 75 yards? Well, that pellet's not going to be in the center anymore.
No.
So how do you know where to aim? It gets real tricky. There are ways that you can use a duplex reticle with range estimation. We're not going to get into that today. But needless to say, it's suboptimal if you're shooting at variable distances. It's not great. So the next upgrade, the next thing you want to look at is some sort of reticle, some sort of crosshair that gives you multiple aim points. So I'm going to go back here to the different reticle choices because you're going to hear people talk about mil dots, like a mil dot reticle. All right, so mil is actually a unit of measure. So Sue asked me this question. I'm jumping ahead.
Just a little bit.
Scroll up a little bit.
There you go. Thank you.
That good?
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually have AI Google generated definition. Thank you. And essentially, it's the long battle between metric and standard, because there's a couple different ways to look at this range estimation, because you're dealing with like angles, like it's called MOA. You know what MOA is, minute of angle. Millirads is again a type of angular range and bullet drop and curvature and all that kind of fun stuff going on. So essentially, you have two different standards that you can work on. Now, some people want to shoot MOA, some people want to shoot mil. Hawke will hook you up either way. Depends on what level scope you're in, or where you what you want to do. But they have different reticles with different adjustments to facilitate if you want to shoot MOA or mil. So when I say mil dots, I'm not talking specifically mil spec, milli rad. I'm just talking about a reticle that has stuff on it you can aim with. Okay, so it's a common term people use. I want a mil dot reticle, and that means I want aim points. I want to know that I've got these dots that's going to help me when I'm changing my range. If I go to the range and I say, all right, I'm dead on at 25, but at 50 I've got to hold it this far. At 75 I got to hold it this far. At 100 I got to hold it this far, and at 10 I got to hold down that far. If you are, or maybe hold over, it all depends on where the curve is. That's a whole topic for another day. But you want aim points. Bottom line, Sue, you want aim points, okay?
Yep.
So I'm going to show you.
I definitely do.
I'm going to show you. Let's see. I'm not going to show you the rimfire stuff because that's not for us. Let's do this one right here. All right. So let's look at that reticle. So that's your typical mil dot reticle.
Can you scroll up just a little? Thank you.
So that is a typical mil dot reticle. That's an illuminated etched glass reticle. We're going to get to why that's important. That's an example, and you just see these dots. Now, first of all, if you want to check any of this stuff out, go to Hawke's website. It's awesome. I was looking through it, and I was like, oh my gosh, they've done all the work here. I'm going to try and pull together some trains of thought using the work they've already done. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel because their site's awesome. And it'll actually go through, if we hit the more information button, not all reticles have this, but it tells you exactly what all the spacing means. It's awesome. I mean, it's really, really good. So you're going to want to look at this. If you want to learn more about scopes, this is a great resource. So anyway, so as you can see, it talks about what each little space is, how far it is. Now, it also knows, you see it says at 10x, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about, this gets like, on a beginners, you really just don't worry about first focal plane right now. Just use second focal plane scopes. They're a little cheaper, and actually they have some advantages if you're just target shooting. But if you're hunting and you want to maintain like spacing at ranges, you're probably going to set that scope to 10 power, and then those dots are going to be calibrated to proper mil. Okay, but if you change your magnification, you've now changed the spacing. So that's why you'll see on a reticle chart spacing on 10x. So this spacing is relevant only at 10x magnification. So the scope we have here is a 4-16, and it has, see what reticle we have on here. It's a mil.IR. So this is going to be calibrated at 10x. So if you're at 10x on this, then your spacing is going to be calibrated correctly. If you go beyond that, it'll be off. So you're going to pay attention to that. First focal plane is different because the reticle actually stays constant, which has its advantage if you're really hunting variable distances a lot. All right. So we've talked about adjustable objective. We've talked about aim points or your reticle. We've talked, so, make sure you have something that gives you some good aim points. See if I have more reticles here. Oh, I do. Is there any here that they have? All right, so they have first focal plane. We're not going to get on that. And then we have your standard mil dot. Okay,
Can you scroll up?
Yep, sorry. Okay, so if you notice that reticle we just looked at was like floating on the image, that's because it's etched glass. This reticle is what's called a wire reticle. Your more affordable scopes are generally going to use a wire reticle. Now, why does this matter? Because on a gun like this, it will probably trash most wire reticles, even Hawke scopes. So
is that because it's a spring gun?
It's a break barrel. Yeah, it's a Springer. So yes, it's a Springer. So what happens is that piston slams in the front of the gun, jerks the gun forward. Scopes are meant to absorb rearward recoil. Now, more and more scopes, especially like the scopes we're going to talk about today, are actually designed to take double recoil. So you're better off today than you were 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But an etched glass reticle is far more durable than a wire reticle. So if you go with a wire reticle cheap scope off of Amazon or something, or even go with a Vantage wire reticle, it may not hold up over time. It may degrade, it may fail, it may rotate, it may break. They're not going to be as durable as an etched glass. Etched glass reticles are more expensive, They also illuminate much nicer. Like if you illuminate a wire reticle, maybe some of you guys have bought the $80 scopes with a, you turn it on and the whole thing's glowing, and inside it's not just the reticle just doesn't light up, but the whole thing is like, they got like a light behind it and it flashes it, and you got this green or red glow around the whole sight picture and stuff. That's how a wire reticle is illuminated, where etched glass, you'll just see, especially on the Hawke, any of the Hawke IR scopes means illuminated reticle. All their illuminated reticles are all etched glass, so just remember that. But it's just the reticle brightens up, or maybe part of the reticle brightens up because part of it's illuminated. I don't know how they do it. I'm not an engineer, but it's really cool because you can have like a scope and just the dot lights up. It's really, really neat how they do all that. Etched glass gives you some real good flexibility and better durability. So we've got the durability side. I'm kind of going out of order here, but that's okay. Now let's talk about tube size, which is super important. This is a 1-inch tube, and probably when you go to your first beginner scope, you're gonna stick with a 1-inch tube. The size of the tube will either limit or enhance the amount of light transfer. So you are taking light from here, this objective, squishing it down, running it through this tube, which the tube moves, these turrets actually move the tube around, and then output to this eyepiece. A more narrow tube has to bend the light more, and you're going to get less light transfer. Your image isn't going to be as bright, as clear, as good as if you have a larger tube. There's less refraction, less bending that you have to do. So a 1-inch tube's probably what you're going to have, and that's fine. That's a good starter scope. This has got a 1-inch tube, right? But when you go to the next level, which we'll talk about in the next video, bigger tube, better light, more flexibility. The other thing you run into, we're going to go down to magnification here. There are single magnification scopes, and I don't know if Sue was going to remember this. Remember when we went prairie dogging? I had a scope that was just a 10 power scope. There was no magnification adjustment. I don't even know if you remember using it, but it is just super bright. It doesn't have all the gears in it to make that change of magnification, so it's simpler. It's brighter. It's got a fixed magnification range. You don't have to worry about your adjustments changing based on magnification, because 10x is 10x is 10x, or 20x depending on the scope. There's some real value in having just a fixed power scope, especially if you're just utility shooting and you don't need all that magnification. So consider that. It may be a decent option. Most of Hawke scopes are going to be variable power though. So when we're looking at variable power, if you're in a 1-inch tube, you want to be realistic. If you can go online, and Hawke sells them too, I just would not personally use one. A 6-24 in a 1-inch tube is going to be really hard. When you get to 24 power, it's not going to be great. Okay. Now a 34 mil tube or a 30 mil tube, and you're 6-24 with really good glass. I mean, we're moving from that $300 price point to the $1,200 price point, right? That's going to be really good. But at the low end, there's so much bending of the light that's taking place, not ideal. So like on a 1-inch tube, I kind of top out like a 4-16. I think it's a great focal distance. You've got great magnification that way. I like it quite a bit. So 4-16 is where I go, or 3-12 is another great option. I actually prefer a 40 millimeter objective to 50, and I'll tell you why in a second, because when we get the scope out. But it's hard to find the 40 mils. They're not real popular because people think 50 is better, and therefore they buy 50, and that's why they make them. It's fine. I just like a 40, and again, I'll tell you why in a minute. Okay, so you have this magnification. I like a variable powered scope. It's fine for me. On a gun like this, 4-16 is maybe a little overkill, but it's certainly fun. So again, I'm really hoping this scope fits. All right, so 4-16 is good. A 3-12 is also good. 3-9 is good. Actually, if I had one, the scope I probably would have put on this from a price point and usability, they make a 2-7 by 32. Let me see if I find it here. If I go down to your scopes here.
Let me know once you're there.
Yeah, no. Well, just switch to my screen so that you can see. I mean, so before we get to theirs, we're talking about beginner scopes. And if you go to Hawke's website, let me just go Hawke products here. And I just want to go to rifle. I want to go to their main website here because I want to show that there's a particular description they have then I want to explain what it means. So when you're looking at their website or considering optics, it makes sense. So we need all products. Somehow I got stuck over on the spotting scope side, or the
rifle scope.
Rifle scopes. Do you see rifle scopes anywhere? Oh, here we go. Right, I was right there. Good. All right. So, really just want to see rifle scopes. All right.
All rifle scopes down below. Go back. There. Up. Up.
Oh, thank you. Goodness. Okay, great. This is the page I wanted. Awesome. Okay, so we're down here on Vantage. Now, if you notice, next to Vantage is hard to see, but it says System H2.
Yep.
Do you see that?
Yep.
AirMax is in the same class. I did not mean to click on that. Darn you, touchscreen. All right, so the H2 class is a particular type of class of scope based on the manufacturing process, the number of elements, the type of glass, the type of coatings. All right, so the AirMax and Vantage are based on the same H2 system. Okay, the difference is Vantage has a wide variety of stuff going on because it's suitable for rimfire, hunting rifles, air guns too. AirMax is specifically air guns. It's really designed for air guns, and you'll see that when we get to that. Our intermediate scope is actually an AirMax scope.
Is that why they called it AirMax?
Yes, right, exactly. So then we go over to the endurance line. If you notice, they got their base endurance and Sidewinder.
Can you scroll up for endurance so we can see it? Because you scrolled over it.
Okay, so that is your H5 system. So endurance, much like you have AirMax and Vantage, in the H5 class, you have endurance and Sidewinder. So endurance is going to be your traditional firearms usage. And if you notice, they have a very low profile turret. So if you're putting a rifle case, that kind of stuff, it's very handy.
Can you explain low profile turret?
Yeah, you see the little knob adjustment on the top?
Yeah.
Now look at the knob on the Sidewinder.
Oh, it's taller.
Yeah, okay.
So turret like in a castle.
Yeah, so these little guys here, these are called turrets.
Okay.
Okay, so it has a very low profile turret. It's great for going in a rifle bag or case. And those are going to be really good for your traditional firearms. Sidewinders, also good for traditional firearms, but they're more tactical, and they also have a lot of airgun friendly features. Our high-end scope's going to be a Sidewinder when we get to the enthusiast, yes.
Is a Sidewinder scope the one that has the wheel on it?
Well, AirMax has the wheel, Sidewinder has a wheel, and I believe, I want to say Frontier also, the Frontiers also can have the wheel.
Okay. So the Sidewinder is not, the wheel is not called a Sidewinder.
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was.
No, it's not. The Sidewinder, it might have been back in the day, because I'm not going way back. They've introduced side focus on their entry-level line over the last years, but back in the day, I had Sidewinders that used to come in at like a proper hard box, a little like with metal edges. It looks like it was really cool. The presentation was great. And yeah, it had the wheel and the whole deal. Sidewinder was like top of the line back when I was first getting in with Hawke. Beautiful optics. Still, I have Sidewinders that I've had since the beginning. They had an old one that was a 4.5 to 14 tactical. Really nice scope. I still have a couple of them. Yes, Sue.
Okay, so I have a comment on you brought it up, so that's why I'm going to bring it up. The scope cases that they come in, the boxes they come in are like Apple product boxes. They are really
very
good
well done.
quality product boxes. And I've seen some other scopes come in. These are impressive. I mean, heck, we've stored ammo cans in the boxes because they're so strong they actually hold the ammo cans.
I'm not allowed to throw away the boxes.
No, because we have many uses for them.
They're really, really good. They're sturdy, they're rugged, they're built well. They're nice boxes. Okay. Yep. All right.
Good to keep your scope in if you take it off your gun.
So now we get to the H7, which is the
Back
top
on your
tier.
Computer?
Yeah. The H7 is the Frontier. So remember.
Hold on. Let me change to picture again because you've moved to what you're showing. Give me just a second. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm going to...
If there's one thing that's a little bit quirky with the way we're doing this is that box she's using to combine all the cameras to move the picture around isn't as quick as you do it on a computer, but it has some other advantages which are worth it.
Just bear with me, folks.
You happy with that?
No, not yet. I will be when I can get it up top.
She's working on it. She's almost there. She's almost there. All right.
Now I'm there. Now
right.
you can...
So let me scroll this and move it right in the way.
Half of the course, yes.
All right. So the Frontier, if we go back to the beginning, we have Vantage and Air Max as H2. We have Sidewinder and Endurance as H5. Then we have Frontier, which is H7. And H7 is the best they have. It's really good multi-coating. The coatings are important because they help with light transmission. The manufacturing process is the best they offer. And I can tell you that there is a worlds of difference when you go from like an Air Max. Air Max is actually really good. When you go like for your basic Vantage up to say a Frontier 34, they're not even in the same universe. It's amazing, the clarity and difference. And the price is substantially more too. You go from $300 to $1,200, $1,300. It's a big deal. It's a big jump. But if you're in the enthusiast class, I'm going to show you a scope that's got the same specs. It's twice as much than Hawke. So I haven't looked through that scope. I just did a quick search today. I was like, oh my gosh, this Hawke's may, even though for us airgunners, and we're generally pretty cheap, $1,200, $1,300 to spend on a piece of glass is like, wow, I'd never do that. But real serious rifle shooters are spending thousands of dollars on scopes. Hawke may be a great option just for what it's worth.
The H in the H7 or H5, is that just short for Hawke?
I don't know. I didn't ask them.
Okay.
Okay, so went through that. Last couple things here, and then we're actually going to see if this scope fits. Cross your fingers. I really hope it does.
Do you want me on your computer still?
No, we can come off the computer. So we've talked about tube size, just briefly, magnification versus single focus. Shooting distance, you're probably backyard shooting, and that's why, again, we're going to be looking at the budget, entry level. If you're going to shoot, oh, Rick, I need to shoot 250 yards, I'm going to say pass on this and go to an Air Max or a Sidewinder or something different, because you're going to get better performance at range and at distance. You're going to have better clarity with those optics than you will with the Vantage. Vantage is great to like 100 yards, really solid scope. It's way good enough. And it's good for that. This scope here, I looked it up, is about $309 MSRP, I believe. Hopefully I'm right. So you pay a little less than that at street price. So it's not $80 from Amazon, but it's a whole lot better scope. Again, etched glass, got a lot of good things going for it. So last thing we're going to talk about, and then we're going to do some mounting here. Back in the day, I'm going to go ahead and take this scope off. This is your bundle scope. It uses a T15 on the side here. I don't know if you want to show that, Sue, from the top camera. What I'm doing here, but we'll talk about the rail here.
Okay, I'm going to have to move your picture in picture again.
That's fine.
So bear with me. Don't do anything. Just stop.
I'm going to wait just a minute.
Yeah,
I'm going to have another sip of drink here. I need some more. I need like a big IV of water or something. It's so stinking dry here.
Okay.
Good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about, now that we've kind of talked about scopes and features, let's talk a little bit about mounting options and what to look out for, etc., etc. So this being a brake barrel, we've got this little hole here, and that holds this pin right here, and that's called a stop pin, and that stops the scope from sliding off the back of the gun. When this piston, that's magnetic, when this piston slams forward, the gun wants to jump forward. We had a hell of a time back in the day trying to get our scopes to stay put. We had scope stops in the front and the back, and I mean, short of drilling a hole and putting a screw in the doggone thing, we did all kinds of things. The bigger, heavier the mount worked against you because you have to not only hold the scope, but now you have to hold the mount. It just was problematic. So they just made a hole, and you put the pin in the hole, and that usually stops it. But you can see here, I haven't shot this a lot. You may not be able to see it, but this is already deforming.
Can you hold it up to the camera? Back just a hair. No, it's not focusing. No, it's not focusing on it.
Okay.
Never mind.
But you'll see if you have one of these guns, you pull your scope, this is going to be deformed. It's just, the nature of the proverbial beast. Okay, so we have what's called a dovetail rail here. This is one of the more difficult rails to connect to. The other guns we're going to be looking at have slotted rails so that the mounts actually have a bar, they sit, they're not going anywhere, and that's what a lot of firearms have, that like your 22, old 22 rimfires and stuff were dovetailed, but there's no recoil, so there was no big deal. But this, you need the stop pin. This dovetail, you need mounts to go with the dovetail. So if you don't have dovetail mounts, let's say you go and your scope comes with these guys. Can you see that?
Yes. Okay.
You see this has got a big gap here. These are called weaver mounts, or Picatinny weaver are not the same, but a lot of people use them interchangeably. Deals with your unit, particular standard of how things are spaced and whatnot. Anyway, this is a slotted mount, so these are weaver mounts, and these won't go here. They won't work. So you need mounts that are specifically designed for dovetails. The other thing you need to look at is, you notice these are very tall.
Yeah.
Okay, the reason they're very tall, and everybody's going to say, why are your scopes mounts so tall? You got to get really close to the rail. Well, that's great. But if you got a 50 mil objective, you got the little bitty tube and a 50 mil objective, you better get high rings, or you're not going to mount your scope. So you need to have clearance for your objective in here. That's another reason I like the 40 mil objective, is that you may not need to go super tall rings. And I've had issues where even these high rings aren't high enough based on how the gun's made. So we got a little advantage here because we've got a little bit of clearance, extra clearance, because of this rail that they've installed. So sometimes if I had to mount right on the gun here, on the receiver, I'd lose a bit of clearance. So these should give us what we need, I hope. I really hope. I don't have to take the sight off. I really hope. Let's see. Let's see if it's going to work.
How do you know what the right mounts are to get for your gun?
Well, you're going to know with your gun if you're going to have dovetail or slotted.
Okay, you might know, but
what's the difference? Oh, let me just grab a gun with slotted rail. So this is going to be our intermediate air gun. This is a Crossman Prospect. Look at the rails.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Very different.
Yeah, I'm saying you're going to know.
So dovetail and slotted is what they're called?
Right. So this is dovetail. It's anywhere between 9 to 11 millimeter. The rings are set to go with that. This is all these rails should be the same size. That's the idea behind Picatinny, or Weaver can vary. That's why it's not great. But Picatinny rails.
Sorry, you just lost me.
Okay.
Because you went from 9 to Picatinny and Weaver.
So these rails width
yeah.
are 9 to 11 millimeter, generally speaking. And the mounts for these will work on that. Okay. These mounts, like that's variant. So that's variation. So some may be slightly different than others, right?
Okay.
The whole point behind this type of slotted rail is that they're all supposed to be the same.
Okay.
So if they're machined properly, this is a standard. That's Picatinny, okay? Weaver rails, much like dovetails, can vary. So if it's a Picatinny rail that's cut to a standard, a Picatinny mount will work on a Picatinny rail. Weaver can vary, but generally it works. You'd have to get a micrometer out.
No, I mean, does the rail look different between, because those two look very different.
Right, so a Picatinny versus Weaver, you may not be able to tell with the naked eye. You may have to measure it with a tool. Okay. So it's just one of those things that make it all fun, right? So go ahead.
So if I went to, let's say I went to Walmart.
I put this down, it's heavy.
A Gamma gun at Walmart, and I wanted to put a scope on it, and the guy behind the sales desk didn't know what he was doing because he doesn't sell air guns, he sells guns, or he doesn't, he sells fishing lure. How do I know what scope to get? Well,
all Gammo guns, all of these guns that are Gammo, and even that one up there, that's a BSA, which Gammo owns BSA, they're all dovetail, and they're all uniform. So dovetail mounts are going to do you what you want. Okay. If you're getting a gun that's got a slotted rail, then you want Weaver mounts or Picatinny mounts. I hate going back to this because it can be confusing. Weaver mounts should work okay.
So
I hope.
Do all guns come with a mount, one or the other?
Some do not have any means to mount a scope.
Oh.
So this whole conversation would be pointless for you. But
so then you just cannot mount a scope on it?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Interesting, huh?
Yeah, I would not want one of them.
All right, so here, we've got our gun here. Now let's go ahead and get ready to get our scope going. Before we do that, let's unbox the scope. You want to do that?
Yeah.
Because before I break these mounts out and try and attach it, let's make sure it's going to fit. All right, so let me take this down for just a minute.
Can I ask you more questions about
scopes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at their scopes that you pulled up earlier.
Yep.
The Vantage rifle scopes and the reticles. And do they have them all listed there by price, like cheapest to most expensive?
Well, if we go over to the Vantage line, which is what we're talking about today, that's their budget line. They've great. When I first started, they had like a couple Vantage scopes. They have a lot of Vantage scopes now, which is great. I mean, it is a great entry point, really solid offering. One of my favorite scopes is the Vantage wide angle side focused 30 mil first focal plane. There's a lot of acronyms there, a lot of letters there, and it's an expensive Vantage scope, but it's really, really good. I mean, it is clear, great optics. I have a 6-24. It works beautifully, and it's a Vantage line. So,
you're not talking about the one that you're on the screen there, right?
No, it would be way down here. So Vantage wide angle side focus, first focal plane. Here we go. So this one right here, $600.
Can you scroll up just a little? Thank you.
All right. This one right here.
So when I'm looking at these reticles, does a more expensive airgun have the first focal plane 1/2 mil dot reticle?
Yeah.
So the more expensive ones would not have like a slug gun SR or a turkey dot.
Yeah. The turkey dot's actually a pretty cool scope, but those are specific. Those aren't airgun scopes.
Oh, okay.
Those are for firearms.
Okay.
Okay. So the Vantage has a wide application, and there's red dots, there's reflex sights, there's the shotgun sights, shotgun scopes. There's like a huge variations in the Vantage. Today we're talking about the Vantage IR specifically, and that's this guy right here. So.
And you said that I don't like first focal plane, correct?
You do not.
Okay, so what's weird about that is looking at the reticle. I really like the reticle with the line and the dot, because then you can easily say, okay, go one line over or one line under,
dot and a half.
dot under, or
a dot
and a line under, and then it's easily readable to me. The one that I used a while back during Expo that you said
go
find
to
a
2,
and I'm like, there's a 2 on the left and a 2 on the right.
There's twos everywhere. Yeah.
And you said move 2 over. To the number or to the dot? I was like, I do not get what you were talking about.
It was pretty funny. All right, so let's go ahead and unbox this scope.
Okay, hold on. Let me get you on there. There you go.
Okay.
Now, your picture-in-picture is on the bottom right, so you cannot, where that box is tipping in the front of the box is almost covered by your picture.
So is my picture here?
Yeah, down just below that.
Right
yes.
here by the. So I do not need to bring. I can't put this over here.
No. Well, you can, but we can't see half of it.
Okay, so I'm gonna stay right here.
Keep it right there. Don't move it.
All right. Thank you. All right. So I'm gonna pull this out. So in here you have your manuals. Take a look at those. All right. So.
Do you read manuals on scopes?
I haven't read a scope manual in a long time. Last time I read a manual is the other day when we were trying to install that rail or that adjuster, the side wheel. So there's our scope, and it's very long, as you can see. If we take a look at these 2 scopes.
This is a stupid question, but that little silica gel package that's in the box,
yep,
is that to keep moisture out of the scope?
Yep, just to keep it. So look at the difference.
Woo-wee.
Okay, so I'm like, I don't know if it's going to fit. Oh, it's all I got. I don't have the...
That's at least 1.5 inches too long, isn't it?
Oh, it's going to be close. Yeah. Yep, okay. I'm really hopeful this is going to work. I guess let's see what happens here. Let's see if it's going to fit. It's going to be close. If need be, we can just like put some music on and I'll run down the range and grab sure what. I just don't know I have any. I actually requested the 3 to 12 or the 4 to 12, whatever it is, by 40, because it's a little, I think I like it a little bit nicer. I like it a little bit better for these air guns. And I should have requested, I think we'll be all right.
Hang on, let me get the front picture of that. Do it again. Ooh. Can you put it any further back? You really don't want to, though.
I can't because I need to pin it. I can take the sight off, which we might have to do that.
Well, that might be a good little side video.
Well, so there we are. We're right on the bleeding edge. So if this was here, see, that's where that is, and we would be right there. Yeah, we're going to be over.
You're going to hit it.
Okay, let's see if we can make this work. I guess since we are going to go with the scope, we can take sight off. But, okay, picking your scope, this is important, right?
Yeah.
If this is too long, guess what? You can't use it. So you want to make sure that it does fit. And you can imagine if we had the swarm system on this, there ain't no way that working. So that's their auto loading system.
I have another question.
Okay.
Is there a purpose to leaving this sight on?
Once you put the scope on it?
Yeah.
Not really. You can't use it.
Okay. So it does actually make sense to take it off if
yeah.
you're mounting a scope.
Well, no, you don't have to take it off unless putting the scope on forces you to do it. So
now, if that was like a flatter sight, it would be okay.
This, if it was more forward, it'd be fine. Okay. But it hangs over the lip. We've also got to make sure we have clearance to cock the gun.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's good. Let's just go through. Let's go through the process. So on here, these are our mounts. Down here we have a little pin, like on this mount here.
Yep.
We have a stop pin.
Yep.
This pin, it's actually retracted into the mount because you don't always need it, right? We're going to need it. We're going to install it right here. I wonder if I could put it in that break right there. I could finagle it. I might do that. That would give me the... I'm going to cheat. Maybe. No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to abuse this. I'm going to put it right there. We're going to see if it works. So I'm going to need... let's see. I need metric. Those are standard. It does give me some Allen keys. The mounts, Hawke mounts, come with the tools, but I'm going to use mine. So let's go with a 4mm.
Is there a reason you want to use yours versus the Hawke ones?
Yeah, they're just got tape on them and they're all sticky. Okay.
The Hawke ones are. Yeah.
All right, so I'm not going to tighten this down. Okay, just set it like that, and then we're going to get our 3mm and take these out. And I don't know if you're showing from the top or the front. I don't know how
I'm
you're doing it.
Top with picture-in-picture of the front.
Does it look okay?
It looks great.
Excellent. In this studio, awesome.
Now, you could move your Hawke box to behind you and behind the gun and actually push the gun forward a little bit, which would give us a better view. But it might be harder for you to work it that way.
It is harder for me to work. I can go there about as good as I can give you. Okay, so we're going to take these off. And we're going to just see what we're going to have to do. If we have to take the sight off, we'll take the sight off. I think what I did a couple times ago, I know I used an Air Max Compact for my airgun scope on a Gammo gun. It works really, really well. Okay, so now we have a third Allen key, which is our 2.5 for that stop pin. So we're going to get that. It's going to lock into place. There it is. Okay. We'll go ahead and tighten this up. There we go. Make sure that's set. Now let's see where our scope lands, hon. Yeah, it's right there.
Let me see it from the top so I mean from the front. Ooh, yeah.
So we're going to take the sight off.
Yep.
Okay. When we take the sight off, can you see it okay? Can you see it?
That's better.
Okay. Unscrew our little adjuster. Open this up, take our spring out. And let's see if this can even come out. It may not. It looks like this is molded into the case.
So you can't take it off.
Molded, I cannot take it out. Okay. That is a bummer.
Okay, so back to my question.
Okay.
If I bought that gun and I bought that scope and I got home and tried to mount it and couldn't mount it, and now what do I do?
Well,
who do I go to say which scope do I use for this?
Well, this is part of the things that, you know, I lesson learned, right? So I use this gun as an example because I thought it'd be fun to use. There are many guns that aren't going to have this impedance or interference. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, I guess we'll just leave things rolling. And I am literally going to head down to the range quickly and grab a scope and we'll cut this stuff out. Because I don't want to stop the stream.
Why don't you put a slideshow of photos on your...
I don't have that set up to do it, hon. Sorry.
Let me see if I can get something going on this end.
Yep. All right. So what I'm going to do, I will be right back. Sorry for the delay. But I'm going to go grab a different scope. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Apologize for that. Let's see. We want to go products. I want to go to Air Max. I want to go down and see what this one costs. This is the Air Max. I think you got it. Okay, so we're going to talk about Air Max scopes more so in the next episode, but it appears that we need to attach it. We need to address it here because it works in this capacity. So I have something we're going to use. I brought actually. Rather than finding a different scope, which I did, I actually brought a different gun. So we're going to play with that too. So this is going to be a very long video. Okay. So if you show my screen now.
Yep.
So
do you want to be picture in picture there?
Doesn't matter. You can or you can't. The Air Max line, like I said, we're going to use that for the intermediate scope because it's air gunner centric and there's a huge range. Just like with Vantage, you have your basics, and then you go to like your wide-angle side focus, first focal plane, really nice stuff. Air Max has the same thing as well. So we've tried, I was hoping this would fit. It does not. And there's no way to adjust that sight to work. Yes, Sue?
John said, solutions for the unremovable open sight. Flip it forward to lower the profile, crank it down to minimum elevation. He did that on his XS60C.
That is definitely a workaround. I have a different workaround. Different scope.
Different scope.
So.
Well, if you didn't have the option to have a different
so
scope,
you can, let me see. We do this.
Let me put it on the top picture so you can see that.
You could also get a Dremel tool. See, now we have the clearance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's I would say what you would call suboptimal that way.
Does that lock in place so that it doesn't flap around?
It does not, and I don't know that you can. Well, let me see. Pull this all the way down like that. Well, it will flop around, but it won't get in the way of your scope. Anyway, like I said, that's suboptimal. This used to be completely removable. It's not anymore. Anyway, let's get back to it because we have I think, a better solution. So. I would, like I said, I would prefer a 4-12, 3-12, 40 mil, etc. But since we don't have that, we'll go to the Air Max line, which is again, enthusiast, airgun enthusiast based line. Right here, this obviously is going to fit. This is the Air Max 4-12 by 40 AO. They have a similar to this in the Vantage. But I don't have it, so we're going to go with this. The big difference here is that this does not have an illuminated reticle, so that it doesn't light up. But it is etched glass. All of the Air Max stuff is etched glass. And as you can see, it's a much shorter profile.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, so this is your 4-16, which is really long. And then here's your 4-12 in the Air Max. Really nice scope, really clear, really good. I wanted to go Vantage for this, but I have an option. We're going to use the Vantage on something else. So we'll go ahead and finish this, all right? I didn't do much with the unboxing there, other than I took it out of the bag. Manual, little cloth. Okay. We'll go ahead and finish getting our scopes going. Our scope mounts gun done. Okay. So there we go. Let's make sure we orient it properly that way. It's funny. I remember doing a video one time. Got it all mounted up, and I had the knobs like this. There's a problem with that. They're supposed to go like that. Oops! I had to redo the whole video. It's sort of like that guy, that poor commander in the Navy that he lost his job. Have you guys saw that? The guy had a scope on his AR and it was reversed.
Yeah.
And it was like a promotional shot. Nobody caught it. I'm like, that doesn't really look good. And it didn't, so much so that, again, they fired him. Okay, so we're going to want to move this back, I'm pretty sure. There it is. Okay, so I need to have my scope back further just because of my body type. I hate fat. So sometimes that can be a bit of a challenge, but hopefully that'll be good enough. We're not going to crank this down fully because we're not going to be going out doing any shooting at the moment. But we're going to walk through the rest of this of how to get this attached. And then I did bring a different gun that I think is going to work fine with our 4-16. I'm hoping that the existing mounts in the other gun are going to be fine. If not, you would need to have mounts like this. So I'm not going to tighten these down all the way. Just kind of get them snug. Not even snug, just I want to have tension, I guess is the right word. There, still moves, a little tension. Now, Hawke uses some scope tape inside their mounts, which helps cushion.
Can you show us?
Sure.
Back it up a little. There.
Okay.
Oh, okay. It's grippy.
It's grippy tape, exactly. So it cushions and grips, and I lost a screw. There it is. And it helps the scope not slide around. Also means you don't have to get so aggressive when you're tightening it down. Yes, Sue? Did you put a finger up?
No.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get my hair off my neck.
Okay.
So if you're not going to talk, can I ask another question?
Sure, absolutely. Go for it.
So what is it about the first focal plane that I didn't like?
Okay, first focal plane, the whole thing is that the reticle stays constant in its spacing. So when you're zoomed all the way out, the reticle is teeny, teeny small.
Gotcha.
When you zoom all the way in, the reticle gets bigger and it comes with the image. So as the image grows, the reticle grows with it. The problem that you have is when we talk about position, we haven't gotten to that, we're going to do that just now. When you talk about eye position, eye relief, cheek weld, all of those things, the higher the magnification, the less forgiving that eye relief is. So you got to get your eye in that perfect place every single time. And if you don't, then you can't see it. It's blocky. There's the image isn't pop clear. So when you look through a scope, you got good position. It should just bang, clear as day, right there, big bright circle. If it's not that, if it's like narrow with black edges, or it's you can't see it, you're having to do this, you don't have your scope set right. You don't have your eye relief set right. Your cheek weld, all of that's off. When you go, like when she complains about I can't see it, I'll crank the power way down like to 4. Oh, it's great. And then as I start turning it up, well, I can't see it. This is because it requires you to be more precise in your position. So
which is the one I do like?
You like a second focal plane because when you zoom in, you zoom out, the reticle's still big with all your dots. You see everything. Okay, it's not like that big. It's that big regardless of how much you zoom. So you like that.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now is just see how this looks. So first of all, we have a lot of clearance here, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay. You could get that a little lower if you wanted, maybe go medium. You just want to make sure that you have enough clearance for your objective. Again, I like a 40 mil objective over a 50 mil. Okay, if you look at this, look at that angle that they have to create. They go from this 50 mil down to this 1-inch tube. Look at that, how much of an angle they have there, Sue. Versus this is very short.
Yeah.
But they need all this room to bend that light into that 1-inch tube. If it was a 30 mil tube bigger, they wouldn't need they would have to bend the light as much. So you can actually get better light transmission and clarity out of a 40 mil objective and a 1-inch tube than you get with a 50 mil, because it may gather more light, but it also has to bend it more to make that 1-inch tube. So it's counterintuitive. People think that bigger objective is better, but if it doesn't match with a 30 mil or better tube, you actually could be going backwards. Okay, let's see how this feels. Okay, gotta come back. I can't get it back much further. That's workable. Okay, so I need to adjust my reticle. Okay, and then adjust my parallax. This goes from 10 to infinity, so it can focus down to as little as 10 yards. So now, if I look at my back wall, oh, that's beautiful. There we go. And that's pretty much square for me. The way I check it, again, could use a plumb line, get really technical. What I do is I try and keep the gun straight, and I look at the reticle through the scope here. And if it's not splitting that receiver dead center, then I adjust it. It could come to the left just a teeny bit. Yeah. Over adjusted. There you go. Yep. It's still just a teeny bit. I'm like splitting hairs here. It's close enough. I'm shooting at 25, 30 yards. I ain't shooting at 300, so it's good enough for me. And now you would go ahead and just snug these up just ever so slowly in a cross pattern so that you're not putting too much pressure on any one side. And once you get it locked down, you verify you're still square, and you're good to go. You can go sight in your scope, which we've done videos and tutorials on how to do that. I can do that today. But I want to circle back around and look at this other gun I brought to see if our Vantage is going to work. All right, there you go. Done. So this is the Air Max 4-12 by 40, really good. And I was looking at, I wanted to look price point. It's about the same price as the 4-16 by 50 AO IR in the Vantage. So a little bit more airgun focused. It's still based on the H2 manufacturing process, but this is more for airgunners. I've used these a lot on brake barrels. They work pretty good. Let's go ahead and put this aside. We're going to grab this other gun and see if we can make it work. Okay. This is, oh, look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. That is a Gammo Ultimate Sport. No, this is the Gammo Hunter Extreme Ultimate. What caliber is this one? I don't know. Does not matter. Might be 25. This is 25 cal. Okay. Gosh, I remember some people, old airgunners are going to remember the Gammo Ultimate. Is it the Gammo Hunter Extreme Ultimate? That's what this is. The Gammo Hunter Extreme was the gun that was killing pigs online, right? You guys remember that? I think that was completely in bad taste, but boy, it made me want one. This is the newest version of that, gas ram driven. It is a hunting brake barrel to the core, max power. It's built on the Magnum chamber, single shot beast, all metal construction, steel, beautiful. I wonder
Is that Woodstock?
Oh yeah, nice Woodstock. I bet you. Hey, I can take this site off. Yes, this is an exclusive through Gamo's own private website. Really, really nice gun. Okay.
What do you mean by exclusive?
You can't buy it at other retail. You have to buy it direct from Gamo.
Oh.
This is one of the European guns. They bring them over in like low volume because they're enthusiast grade guns. They're a little bit more money, but they're all metal, wood, really, really nice guns.
How much is a little bit more?
I think it's less than $300, I think. For break barrel, you know, people are
you were talking a lot more than that.
I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what this costs.
Are you there?
I'm getting there. Let's see. It is going to be exclusives. Let's see if they even have them available anymore. There it is, Hunter Extreme right there, $300. Yeah, there you go.
Can you scroll up just a fraction? No, I mean the other way down. Down is what I meant. There, stop, go back. Go back. There you go.
Yeah, so $300. It's one of the European guns. It's not the mass market stuff you buy at Walmart. I think that's your exclusive. When you see that, you've got these Woodstock stuff. Gorgeous gun. 25 cal beast of a gun. Okay, I hope we're gonna have clearance here. Let's see. Let's take this out. So I could just pull this off and get another set of mounts, but I don't have any handy. So we're gonna hope that this is gonna work. It may not. We'll have to see. It may. That doesn't hang down. There's this turret area here. Sometimes it can be really deep and not want to work, but we might be very close. Let's hope. If you guys have questions or comments or however you want to reach out, whether you're watching this now live or you're maybe watching this long form on our podcast, you can certainly put comments in. I'll do my best to get to you guys. I don't know how exciting this will be as a podcast other than try and tell you what I'm doing. So right now I am taking the scope mounts off. This has been on this gun for a while. We'll see if it comes off cleanly or if it's going to be stubborn. Oh, easy peasy. This also has some sort of sticky, grippy stuff. Let's see, Sue. Is it going to work? Look at that. Look how gorgeous that is right there, baby. Just look at it. Okay, so hindsight, I should have grabbed this gun in the first place, but that's okay. We learned something. Now, look at our clearance here. See?
Yeah.
It's like down on it. So that actually works really, 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 really good. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy mounted up. So I need to tell Hawke and say, hey, of all those new scopes you sent me, well, I'm going to need to keep 4 of them because I'm going to use this one and then 2 more. Well, yeah, 2 more in our next videos. You guys ready to come along with us in part 2 and part 3? I hope so. Oh man, that's going to be such a nice upgrade. Now, of all the guns that would really benefit from that added magnification, range, and so forth, this is one of them. This thing, I'm supposed to go hunt iguanas later this year. I wonder if I can get this to Miami, maybe ship it out ahead of time. Harold, I may send this to you. You can go play with it, but I want it when I get there. That looks really good. Okay, let's finish this up. I'm admiring my work that is not done yet. All right, so let's get back to the whole beginner airgun topic. Both the scopes I used in this are around $300. That's MSRP. Now, street price is going to be a little less, which is great. So I know that you're going for, like, if you're looking at scopes on Amazon for $89, $100, $60, $70, realize you are getting, they're not the same. They're not the same clarity. They're not the same coatings. They're not the same glass. Certainly not going to have an etched glass reticle. They're not going to give you the same performance. They may not have the same longevity, and they probably don't have that lifetime warranty either, which Hawke has a lifetime warranty. It's limited lifetime warranty. If you beat this up with your truck and run over it, they're not going to cover that. But if it mechanically fails, they'll replace it. That's a huge thing, Sue. You know,
so you get what you pay for.
You do get what you pay for, absolutely. And you get the people that stand behind what you pay for better as well. So I'm going to take my parallax. This goes from 15 yards to infinity, not 10. We're on 4 power. Let's see what this looks like. That is really nice. Okay, so I need to adjust this for my reticle. Okay. Well, that's clear as a bell. Then we need to adjust the angle a little bit. Okay. We'll get close. We'll do our little trick to see where we're at. That's pretty good right there. Oh, yeah. Okay, that is excellent. We'll go ahead and tighten her up. Now, I guess what we should do, like for maybe an AirgunWeb video, is go shoot these. You know, take them out, sight them in. You guys let me know if you want me to do that. I don't know when these will be going out, so we'll have a little time. Or if we do them, in other words, we go ahead and do that, and we do a part 2A, I guess, or part, I don't know what we call it. We go down the range and sight these in. I can just add the link to the video. Okay. So there we go. Sometimes you don't have to buy new mounts because the one that came with your gun may work. Sometimes it will, sometimes they won't. Fortunately, what I have to watch out for on these one-piece mounts, this gap under here, right here, this little part here, that's this turret part, sometimes can be very thick and they don't fit.
And the sight doesn't impact the view.
Not at all. Okay, so this is the monster. It's also very shallow here on the base. I don't have something in here that is not. I think everything I have here is pretty okay. Some scopes just have a lot hanging out underneath, have a lot of junk in the trunk down here. And then when you put them on this mount, you don't have any movement, so you don't want that. So this actually lines up just fine.
John
Works
said
just fine.
definitely shoot them.
Definitely shoot them. All right, we got a vote for shooting. We're going to do that. Why not? I haven't shot my 25 in a while, and it's saying, Ricky, come shoot me. I need to be shot, buddy.
Maybe at night sometime.
Oh, yeah.
Cool down a little.
I got to get down to the range and finish. We're replacing the tarps, or the shade cloth, and we're going to need to get that replaced very soon because I'm supposed to shoot Sunday. So, all right. I may need to get Bob down there to help me. I'm doing my thing. I really don't need to do this right now. I like having the gap on either side of the ring to be equal, and it isn't. And I'm like being super particular right now. And that's going to just be good enough. I'm just going to leave that alone after I fix the back one. Okay.
I'm being particular. I'm just going to stop.
I'm just going to stop
now.
Yeah, let me finish this. All right.
Now.
There we go. All right. I'm done. I'm done.
Hands off.
Done. Yes. Okay. So we learned a lot today. Hope you guys got a chuckle with me over the scope not fitting on our first gun. Something to think about when you guys are looking for scopes. The length matters. Now, I bet you, if we go over here to the Vantage, let me look this scope up. It's going to be Vantage IR 4-16 by 50. How I could have prevented such things. Mil dot right there. It's $309 retail, so it's like $20 more for the Air Max. All right, there's our scope. Now, I bet you we can get, look at there. We can actually know how far apart everything is if we actually put some time in. Right there, it actually shows me the length. So if you, before you buy, like if I had done that, I could save myself some headache, right?
Yep.
All right, but anyway, that was fun nonetheless. So we've got our 4-16 Vantage. We've got our 4-12 Air Max. Now we're going to get kind of go through our final notes here, answer any questions if there are any, and then we're going to take a pause and we're going to come back with our intermediate video, which we're going to drop a Air Max wide angle. What are we running? We're going to run an Air Max something or other fancy scope. I think it even has a side wheel, the whole deal. So you're going to see like this, the Air Max takes things up. It has a much higher level. This is your entry level. We're going to go high level Air Max, which is a great intermediate airgun scope. So we're going to take a break, come back. If you guys have any questions, put them in the comments, and we'll see you guys here in a little bit. Last things, just some final notes here. I think personally, I still think like the Air Max is great for the intermediate, although when you need something to fit, you need something to fit, right? I could have gone with a 2-7. Let me just see while I'm here, Sue.
You want me to pull it up?
Yeah, if I go to a 4-12 by 50, I need to go to the AO. So a 4-12 by 50 AO, which is what? Okay, so that's rimfire. Okay, that's what I want. 4-12 by 40, sorry. No, 4-12 by 50 mil dot. Okay. Okay. If you notice I have the AO on here, be sure if you're buying something with an AO, it actually has the AO. So that's much shorter. That's 13.7 inches. The other is 15 inches.
What's the AO again? And can you scroll up?
Adjustable objective.
Up. Actually, let me just take your picture off. There you go.
So that's 13.7 inches for the
whole scope.
For the 12 to 40 or 12 to 50. All right, so that would have been great. 4 to 12 by 50 would have been beautiful. I didn't have one, so I went to the 4 to 16. So the 4 to 16 by 50 AO is, 15 inches. So again, that Vantage IR would have been a beautiful fit on the other gun if we had had the 4 to 12 by 50. Anyway, you guys get the idea. You had to do your research before, like I should have done better. But the Vantage line, great for beginner scopes. And if you need to make something fit or you want something a little bit more airgun specific, the Air Max on the low end, also very good for a beginning scope. Last points to talk about. I think we actually hit it all. I'm trying to think of anything that we missed. I think we got it. Want to say a huge thank you to Hawke Optics, obviously, for hooking us up with all this great glass and for helping us do what we do. I want to say thank you to all of our GTA members. If you guys haven't checked out gatewaytoairguns.org, please do. It's a great forum. You guys can hang out with tens of thousands of airgunners from all over the world, ask questions, get answers from people that actually go out and shoot pretty much every day. Just a great community. If you guys want to watch our content without YouTube ads, yay, you can go check it out on our Vimeo page. It's vimeo.com/airgunweb. Or you can just visit our websites, which is airgunweb.com or gatewaytoairguns.com for our just regular content. And we have our new Let's Talk Airgun page on AirgunWeb, which is airgunweb/LTA. And you guys can check out everything there. We'll do our best to keep putting links and stuff out there so you guys can find the stuff you're looking for as far as products. And if you let folks know, hey, I saw you on AirgunWeb or Let's Talk Airguns or GTA, that's really going to help us out. So yeah, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you watching. And I think that's going to wrap it up, Sue. I don't have anything to get into right now until we get set up for our next video. Did we have any questions that we have not answered?
No, we do not.
All right. Well, guys, that's going to be it. This is Rick with AirgunWeb, Gateway Airguns. We'll see you in just a little bit. We're going to film part 2. Be back in a bit. See ya.